Warrior, we must talk about this. Perv, pig, Prince Andrew. Well, former Prince Andrew now. Why is this so important? There's been nonstop coverage around the clock. I got many phone calls, text messages, emails. Are you watching the BBC? Are you following up on this? Listen, Warrior, this is no surprise to us right here at the Warriors. We have heard whispers for decades about Prince Andrew. We have heard whispers how his mother, the Queen Elizabeth, shut this down when people constantly brought to him his own security, other people, what he was up to. It was shh. So now, seems like Wills and Kate are behind the scene, and they have urged Charles, who is the king, to take away his title of prince and everything else that goes with that. I can't really keep track. I don't really know. I never really studied up on it. And he's been banished from the royal lodge, from his 30-room manse, paid for by the taxpayers, by the way, to some cottage on Sandringham Castle, or someplace where they go to celebrate their Christmas, the royal family. And seeing the aerial views of this mansion, I can only hope, I think it's another property, it's another little house or cottage. But these people call 30 rooms, their weekend house. So I have no feeling of anything for Prince Andrew, and also for Fergie. Again, hearing about her, whispers and rumors for years. Remember the time she tried to sell the royal family out? She was going to, it could have been 20 years ago, she was going to give information, insider information about them for money. And there were other things, were a family show I don't want to talk about. Sitting poolside, and some man was, well, I think you get the drift, or you'll look it up. I do feel a bit sorry, and this is where I want to go with all of this, and this is why it's important. I do feel sorry for Andrew's daughters and Fergie's daughters. We don't pick our parents, right? There have been rumors about the girls for years. Jeffrey Epstein was at one of the girls' 16th birthday parties. And rumors again, or true, we don't know. I don't have the actual proof. And these are things we heard ages ago, before Epstein was really in the headlines, any of this, right? Remember, where there's smoke, there's fire. And we heard that perhaps one of the daughters was offered up to Jeffrey Epstein. We heard horrible things. Let's fast forward. So with all this media coverage, everybody jumping on board, slicing, dicing, dissecting, you know what we're not hearing a lot about? The victims, the survivors of not only Jeffrey Epstein, but of this Andrew. Let's put the emphasis and focus on them, because they don't have mansions that I know about that they're being displaced and going to, okay? They don't have services, perhaps. They don't have all kinds of things that this Andrew and Fergie that we're so privileged to have. And Andrew, with his, according to Virginia Giuffre's book, Nobody's Girl, he said it was his birthright to have relations, we're a family show, with her as a 17-year-old. Still legally a minor, everybody. Just so entitled. But all of these girls and young women, listen, no judgment here, and neither should you. Looking to get out of a situation, bad family life, looking to advance their career in modeling or show business, very vulnerable and very naive. We were all there. We were all naive at one point in our lives, especially as teenagers and early 20s, and we believed things we were told, or we believed when somebody said they loved us and they wanted to help us. Come on now, let's be realistic. Let's be adults about everything. But in all of this coverage, and yes, I've seen some of these women now coming forward who are in their 40s, even 50s. But it reminds me, in all of this talk, whether it's Epstein, Diddy, any of it, the emphasis must always be put on survivors, empowering them, supporting them, listening to them, and having resources for them. So I will call him the triple P, pig pervert prince, even though he's no longer a prince. But you know what's great about this? If I can use the word great, finally, it does show survivors some sort of accountability, that somebody of power and wealth who basically went around saying he's untouchable, stories are coming out now, just even from neighbors, over there in England, how he was just a horrible person. He laughed at people, he put them down. I even heard a story where he would speed up in his car, pretend sometimes he was going to hit somebody. I don't know if it's true. I heard this. And then slam on the brakes just to laugh and scare them. This is a horrible human being. And so is Fergie. For knowing this, remember, she lived in this royal lodge with him since they got divorced way back in, I don't know when that was, officially 2007 or something like that. Don't hold me to it. And they say due to finances, she lived. I guess when you have 30 rooms, you don't even have to see each other. But she knew, and she let this go on. We know Fergie knows things because of her emails that came forward, her notes to Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Even prior to when she said she never had any contact with him, communication was brought forward after that fact, so she lied. But did they not? Did they not, these perverts, even think about their two daughters and now their grandparents and the stain and the embarrassment it'll put on the girls who've already been, well, King Charles says they can retain their title. That's well, good, and fine. But they were doing, according to all accounts, we hear from people, a lot of charity work, a lot of good, right? And a lot of that was stripped away from them. Different charities already dropped them. So didn't their parents think about them? Certainly not. Certainly not about these victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew, and I dare say Fergie. Stay tuned, because I feel like it is a good day that the victims, the survivors, are seeing some accountability. And I also believe that Andrew will most likely be facing criminal charges, so stay tuned for that. But for now, whenever we talk about these stories of exploitation, always think of the survivors, the victims. And I leave you with this thought. We know about so many. Can you imagine the number of women and girls we just never heard about? Because remember, when something is this horrific, a lot of women, girls just want to forget about it, bury it, not talk about it, never ever bring it up. They're embarrassed. It was too horrific. So he alone, Andrew and Epstein together, and I'm going to say Fergie, complicit, have caused so much damage to so many people. Do they not have any morals? I say it's pure evil. Honor our hashtag, Community Creates Change. Talk about these issues. Talk to your kids open and honestly. Be aware of sharing facts, not fears. I know a lot's going on, but this is a good day because Andrew is finally kicked to the curb, and we can only say it is some piece of something for these victims of Epstein as this story continues. It's just beginning, not ending. Remember what I tell you each and every day. Go out and be a warrior.